Clarity first today on the Daily Show.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0, ignition, liftoff.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Daily Show, a show for not just rental housing providers, but anybody who's in business or just in life that is looking for more white space on their calendar. My name is Mark Dolfini, your host and coach. It's really good to see you. So today we're going to be talking about clarity. Clarity first. Why is it important? Man, that's bold. Wow. All right. So clarity first, why that's important. And also, if you'd like to join the discussion at the VIP lounge, the Time Wealthy VIP lounge, I'll make sure that is in the show notes for you as well. You can come to the Facebook group and just answer a couple questions, and we'll see you on the inside. So why is clarity so important? And I know some of you might say, well, obviously you need to have clarity in where you're trying to go. Otherwise, you don't even know if you're actually heading in the right direction. Well, that's pretty much it. It's not that complex. And I've had conversation after conversation that it's really interesting when I see people asking questions that almost always I have to go back to, well, what is it you're trying to accomplish? And many people will reach out to me and thinking that they want to get into the real estate investing world, and I'll say, okay, well, what is it you're trying to accomplish, right? What is it that you're trying to do? And if it's something like they'll say, well, I want to fund my retirement, and they're already in their early 50s, mid 60s, that's going to be a different answer than if they're in their early 20s, because their strategy is going to have to be a little bit different. Like, what are they trying to accomplish? And that it depends on where they're at financially. It depends on where they're at in a lot of different areas of their life. Again, if you're going to draw a map is only helpful if you know two things, right? Where you are and where you're going. So, where you are, it really depends on which route you're going to take, depending on where you want to go, right? This is why clarity is important. But the other thing, in terms of you having individual clarity and clarity within yourself, is because of how often we have communication with ourselves. It was reading recently that there was a study done by psychologists that we speak to ourselves. We have internal conversations as many as 50,000 times a day. Can you imagine that? 50,000 times a day. And the really disturbing thing is that 80% of those communications are actually negative. Ouch. So we're really tough on ourselves. So imagine if with that daily barrage of just negativity and negative thoughts and things that are just beating us down and holding us back and reinforcing our limiting beliefs and all of these self-sabotaging behaviors and all of these things, right? And if you don't have a real clarity in terms of really where you're trying to go, how if your message isn't clear internally, it isn't going to be clear externally, meaning in your actions or when you're in your communications with somebody else, when you're trying to communicate where you're trying to go, right? So it's really, really important, just not only for your clarity in terms of where you want to go, but so you can communicate it to others, so you can communicate what exactly it is you're trying to accomplish. So clarity is really, really important. I can't downplay that in any aspect whatsoever. It's really important that um, um, yeah, you're humming the Dora map in your head. Yes, you're welcome, JFT. But that's why it's so important that you have that discussion, with yourself. And when you're having that discussion over and over and over with your vision, which you should be revisiting your vision every day, multiple times a day, not just when you get up in the morning. I have a little note card in my wallet, right? I cut out a nice little thing right here, which has my vision written on it. Okay. And I carry it around with me. So I see it throughout the day. I revisit it right after lunch. And then I revisit it again right before I go to bed. And sometimes I rewrite my vision over and over and over. That's in fact what I tell my coaching students to do when they're looking for things, specifically if they're trying to accomplish a vision or they're just starting to carve out their vision, to rewrite their vision multiple times. Rewrite it in the morning, rewrite it at night. And it starts to imprint on your mind. And it's okay if things change. That's okay. That's normal. That's natural. But that's why it's really, really important for you have clarity in your vision in terms of really what it is that you're trying to accomplish. And then when you're starting to have that dialogue over and over with yourself, if it's clear and you can start to communicate that to yourself internally, then all of a sudden you're going to start to be able to communicate that clearly externally to others, externally to people who are who will work for you, whether that's a vendor, whether that's an employee, whether that's a virtual assistant, whatever that is. Your instructions will be clear. Your methodology will be clear. Your when you see pieces of your vision starting to come closer to you, you'll say, oh, that's the thing I've been searching for, right? It's that it activates that reticular activation in our brain. Again, if you're not familiar with that thought, it's the whole idea of if your friend buys a blue car and it's like they're like, oh, it's the only color, this is the only car in this color blue, and then all of a sudden you see five more cars with that same exact color blue, and you're like, I'll have the heart to tell them, but because you think it's your friend, right? It's reticular activation. So these are the sorts of things that when you're really clear, those are the sorts of things that start to come with you, and again, starts to activate the law of attraction, starts to bring things into your world that you start to notice that will bring you closer and closer to your vision. So that's why it's so incredibly important. But that's all I have for today. It's a short one today. Again, if you'd like to join the discussion at the Time Wealthy VIP Lounge, I'm going to be hosting probably in a couple of weeks where I'm going to be doing just some daily videos in there that will help you if you are in business and you are interested in the VIP method. I'm going to walk you through the VIP method, plus some additional things that can help maybe bring some things into focus, where there are 4 key critical functions that will help you. Again, once you get your vision alignment, the infrastructure and process, it breaks out the infrastructure and process into 4 specific areas of 4 key functions that every business needs to have. We talked about that here a little bit on the show, but I'm going to be going into those in depth every day for about 3 or 4 days. Haven't quite ironed all that out yet, but that's what I will be looking for. So, really good to see all of you. I appreciate you stopping by. I apologize for Tuesday. We missed the daily. I know that's why I call it a daily-ish show, right? I know a couple of you messaged like, "Hey, man, where are you at on Tuesday?" Well, I was not feeling well, so I went home and I sat at home and kind of licked my wounds. I just wasn't feeling great. My belly and whatever. I'll spare you all the details, but it shall be known as the Great Intestinal Incident of 2021. That's enough. That's probably more information that you needed. Anyway, all right, guys, have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you next time. Please be sure to place a value on your free time, because if you don't, someone else will. But most important, there is no amount of money that will make time irrelevant. Take care.